Nobody inside that stadium saw this coming. After one of the most intense and emotionally charged games of the entire 2026 baseball season, when most players were exhausted and ready to head straight to the clubhouse, Shohei Ohtani did something that stopped everyone in their tracks. Something so unexpected, so genuinely warm, and so completely out of the ordinary that even the Arizona Diamondbacks players, the opposing team who had just battled the Dodgers for 9 hard-fought innings, stopped what they were doing and began to applaud. The crowd, which had already been buzzing with the energy of a fantastic game, suddenly transformed into something else entirely. Something more human, more emotional, more beautiful. Because what Ohtani did for his teammate Will Smith on his birthday, right there on that baseball field in front of thousands of fans, was the kind of moment that reminds everyone why they fell in love with this sport in the first place. Tonight we take you inside every single detail of one of the most heartwarming and unforgettable moments of the entire baseball season. The Los Angeles Dodgers and the Arizona Diamondbacks had just completed a game that had demanded everything from both rosters. 9 innings of high-intensity, high-stakes baseball that had kept fans on the edge of their seats from the very first pitch to the very last out. Both teams had competed with everything they had. The energy inside the stadium had been electric throughout the entire game, and by the time the final out was recorded, the crowd was already buzzing with the kind of satisfied energy that only a truly great baseball game can produce. For most players on both sides, the end of the game meant one thing: get to the clubhouse, recover, and start preparing mentally for the next challenge. Baseball is a long and demanding season, and the physical and mental toll of competing at the highest level means that the moments immediately following a game are usually quiet, personal, and focused entirely on recovery and reflection. But Shohei Ohtani had other plans for this particular evening. Those closest to Ohtani within the Dodgers organization had known for several days that something special was being quietly organized. A small group of teammates and staff members had been brought into the secret carefully and deliberately, because the entire magic of what Ohtani was planning depended completely on one person having absolutely no idea that it was coming. That person was Dodgers catcher Will Smith. And on this night, his birthday, he was about to experience something that he would remember for the rest of his life. Organizing a surprise for a professional baseball player during an active season is not a simple task. The schedules are demanding, the environments are controlled, and the tight-knit nature of a major league clubhouse means that keeping any kind of secret from a teammate requires genuine planning, genuine discretion, and a genuine commitment from everyone involved to protect the surprise at all costs. Ohtani had been thinking about this moment for weeks. Those who worked closely with him described how he had quietly reached out to members of the Dodgers staff, to several trusted teammates, and even to people connected with the stadium operations team to make sure that every single element of what he was planning would come together perfectly at exactly the right moment. Will Smith is one of the most important and most respected figures inside the Dodgers clubhouse. As the team's primary catcher, he is the player who calls the game from behind the plate, who manages the pitching staff, and who sets the defensive tone for the entire team. His relationship with his teammates, and particularly with Ohtani, runs deep. The two have developed a genuine bond over the course of their time together in Los Angeles. A bond built on mutual respect, shared competitive drive, and the kind of genuine friendship that develops naturally when two people work that closely together toward the same goal every single day. Smith had mentioned his birthday to a few teammates in passing, the kind of casual mention that most players make without expecting anything beyond a quick acknowledgement in the clubhouse. He had absolutely no idea that Ohtani had been listening carefully and had already begun putting something extraordinary into motion. As the final out of the game was recorded and the players on both sides began their usual post-game routines, something unusual started happening on the Dodgers side of the field. Instead of heading directly toward the clubhouse tunnel, several Dodgers players began gathering near the dugout in a way that caught the attention of the fans still inside the stadium. There was a quiet energy building, a sense that something was about to happen that nobody had been expecting. Will Smith came off the field after exchanging his usual post-game words with teammates and staff, completely unaware of what was waiting for him just a few steps away. And then Shohei Ohtani stepped forward. What happened next has been described by everyone who witnessed it in person as one of the most genuinely moving and beautiful moments they have ever seen on a baseball field. Ohtani, with the help of stadium staff who had been coordinating quietly behind the scenes, produced a birthday celebration right there on the field that was as personal, as thoughtful, and as genuinely heartfelt as anything that anyone in that stadium had ever witnessed from a professional athlete toward a teammate. The birthday cake appeared. The music began playing through the stadium speakers. The Dodgers players who had been quietly gathering broke into applause and began singing. Smith's expression transformed in an instant, from the focused and composed look of a professional athlete wrapping up a demanding game to something far more open, far more surprised, and far more deeply moved than anyone had expected to see. He was completely overwhelmed, and the crowd saw it happen in real time. What elevated this moment from simply heartwarming to genuinely historic was what happened on the other side of the field. The Arizona Diamondbacks players, who had just spent 9 innings competing fiercely against the Dodgers, and who had every reason to simply pack up and head toward their own clubhouse without a second glance, stopped. They turned. They watched. And then they began to applaud. It started with just a few players near the dugout entrance who caught a glimpse of what was unfolding on the Dodgers side of the field. They paused. They watched for a moment, and something in the genuine beauty and warmth of what they were seeing cut straight through the competitive rivalry and the post-game emotions and reached something far more fundamental, their shared humanity as people who love the same sport. One by one, more Diamondbacks players stopped and turned toward the celebration. The applause from the Arizona dugout grew steadily and organically, not orchestrated, not forced, not performed for the cameras. Just genuine appreciation from a group of competing athletes who recognized that what they were watching transcended the boundaries of any game or any rivalry. The crowd inside the stadium, already buzzing from a fantastic game, reacted to the sight of the opposing players applauding with an eruption of emotion that witnesses described as unlike anything they had experienced at a baseball game before. The cheering was not just for the Dodgers. It was not just for Will Smith. It was for the moment itself. For the reminder that underneath the uniforms and the competition and the statistics and the standings, these are human beings who are capable of extraordinary kindness and genuine connection. Several fans inside the stadium were visibly moved to tears. Videos captured from multiple angles and posted across social media platforms spread around the world within hours, and the reaction from people who watched them was equally emotional. Comments poured in from baseball fans and non-baseball fans alike, all expressing the same feeling, that what they had just witnessed had touched something deep and real inside them. Will Smith stood at the center of everything, surrounded by his teammates, serenaded by a stadium full of fans, and completely overwhelmed by the scale and the thoughtfulness of what Ohtani had organized for him. Those who were standing close to Smith in those moments described a man who was genuinely struggling to process the emotion of what was happening around him. Smith is known inside the Dodgers clubhouse as one of the toughest and most mentally resilient competitors on the roster. His ability to stay calm and composed under pressure, whether he is calling a crucial pitch in a playoff game or handling the demands of managing an entire pitching staff through a long season, is one of the qualities that his teammates and coaches respect most deeply about him. Seeing him visibly moved and emotionally overwhelmed was something that even his closest teammates described as genuinely surprising and genuinely touching. He embraced Ohtani with the kind of gratitude that does not need words to communicate itself. The two stood together for a moment in the middle of everything, in the middle of the music and the applause and the cameras and the thousands of fans watching, and the connection between them was visible to every single person in that stadium. Smith later addressed the media and spoke about the moment with the kind of openness and vulnerability that professional athletes rarely allow themselves to show publicly. He described being completely blindsided by the celebration and said that what Ohtani had done for him on his birthday was something he would carry with him for the rest of his career. He talked about what it means to have a teammate who pays attention, who listens, who cares, and who is willing to put in the effort to make someone feel genuinely valued and genuinely seen. His words resonated deeply with everyone who heard them. Shohei Ohtani's greatness on the baseball field is something that the entire world is already familiar with. The statistics, the awards, the historic performances, and the record-breaking contract are all part of a public story that has been told and retold countless times. But what happened on the field after the Diamondbacks game offered the world a glimpse of something that does not show up in any box score or highlight reel. It offered a glimpse of who Shohei Ohtani actually is as a human being. Those who work with Ohtani every day inside the Dodgers organization have always spoken about his character with the same admiration that the rest of the world reserves for his talent. They talk about his attentiveness, the way he notices things about the people around him that most people would miss entirely. They talk about his generosity, the way he gives his time, his energy, and his care to teammates and staff members without any expectation of recognition or reward. They talk about his humility, the way he carries the weight of being the greatest player in the world without ever allowing it to change who he fundamentally is as a person. The birthday celebration for Will Smith was a perfect expression of all of those qualities combined into a single beautiful moment. It required attentiveness to remember and to care. It required generosity to plan and to execute. And it required the kind of genuine humility that allows someone to step back from their own enormous public profile and make an evening entirely about someone else. That is the Ohtani that his teammates see every single day. And on this night, the entire world got to see it too. In a baseball season filled with dramatic games, intense rivalries, and extraordinary athletic performances, the moment that Shohei Ohtani created for Will Smith on his birthday stands apart from everything else. Not because of what it meant for the standings or the statistics, but because of what it meant for the people involved and for everyone who witnessed it. The image of Diamondbacks players applauding a Dodgers celebration, rivals setting aside everything that divides them on the field to appreciate something genuinely beautiful, is the kind of image that baseball needs more of. It is a reminder that sport at its best is not just about competition. It is about community, about shared passion, about the human connections that form when people dedicate themselves to something they love alongside others who feel exactly the same way. Ohtani did not plan this moment to generate attention or to build his public image. He planned it because Will Smith is his teammate and his friend, and it was his birthday and Ohtani wanted to make it special. That simplicity, that pure and uncomplicated motivation, is what makes the moment so powerful and so lasting. Years from now, when people look back at the 2026 baseball season, they will remember the great games and the great performances. But they will also remember the night that Shohei Ohtani stopped a stadium full of people, including the opposing team, with nothing more than kindness, thoughtfulness, and a birthday cake. What Shohei Ohtani did for Will Smith after the Diamondbacks game was more than a birthday surprise. It was a reminder of why baseball, and sport in general, has the power to move people in ways that go far beyond anything that happens between the lines. The applause from the opposing dugout, the tears in the stands, the embrace between two teammates in the middle of a stadium full of people. These are the moments that last forever. Shohei Ohtani is the greatest player in the world. But on this night, he reminded everyone that he is also one of the greatest people in the world. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments, did this moment move you the way it moved everyone inside that stadium? And if you want to stay updated on all the most powerful and most memorable stories from the world of baseball, make sure you subscribe to our channel right now so you never miss a single moment.